Hey guys, welcome to Bar Z. My name's Stan and welcome to another episode of The Grind. This is grind number 38 and got a lot of, in my grind episodes, they're just kind of little stuff that really doesn't fit in anywhere. It's not really worthy of one single video, so it just kind of a bunch of stuff dovetailed together. So here we go. First off, we're going to talk about a road trip I took, and this is in no particular order. This is probably about my last 3 weeks of stuff that I've done. So first of all, we took a road trip. We started off in Livermore, and I got to sneak in to a customer's place. It's a sheet metal place. We were working in the paint shop, but I got to sneak over and look at some of his very impressive Amada sheet metal laser cutting and things like that. Let's go have a peek over there. Okay, so that's an Amada stacker. That is a laser cut machine. It also has a turret punch press. If the tool that they need is not in the turret, the laser will come in and burn out whatever shape they need. It also has a tapping head, so any holes that get burned out can also be tapped very quickly right on the machine. And that thing is a true workhorse. And I probably don't have to tell you that thing's expensive. But very impressive shop. This guy's an Amada addict. He loves his Amada. All right, after Livermore, we kept heading north, and I finally got up to Sacramento and picked up my grinder. So before we even loaded it, or we pulled it out, got it out, the tarp off of it, we actually got it running at the place we took it out. So let's go take a look at that. Okay, so the hydraulics work. Everything looks pretty good. Decided to load it up and get it on the road. So here it is on the truck. And so finally it's here. It's at the shop. We put it all together. I haven't had any time to work on it. No time at all. I'll be lucky to have it sitting in place before summer bash, just to get it out of the way and have it sitting in its final resting location, and that's my goal. And so now we're up in Northern California, and now it's time to head back south. And I couldn't pass by Fresno without going and seeing my buddy Ray. Don't have any video of that. Ray's got some stuff he put up on his channel. I got to spend an evening with him and shoot a little video. I had a little bit of work in the Fresno area, so I had a few reasons to be there in Fresno. I had a good time there, and hightailed it back home. So now I'm finally back. Got my surface grinder on its wheels, and here it is here, finally in my shop. So pretty cool. Got a few accessories I wasn't expecting. I opened up the lower cabinet and I found these things in there. So who doesn't love a Spindex and a demagnetizer? That's pretty cool that those are stashed in there. I even called the guy and said, hey, those were in the bottom cabinet, and he told me to just keep them. Don't worry about it. They kind of go with the grinder anyway. So pretty cool. Now I got an extra Spindex and an extra demag. Next up, we're gonna do some mail here and there. So this is some Summer Bash email that came in from a viewer. His name's Doug Edwards, and he sent some stuff over for Adam Booth. Hey guys, time for another quick mail call. This got sent into the bash from Doug Edwards in beautiful Bakersfield, California. He writes, "Hey Stan, enclosed is a..." Oh, I'm not even going to say what that is. It's Adam's favorite. There's also a bagged item for Adam. He's got that bag that says for Adam Booth from Doug Edwards. It is a micrometer that he gave to me last year, and I also received a stare-at one from another one of your guests. This is a re-gift for another person that can use it. Wish I could make it this year. You guys have fun and enjoy yourselves. Okay. Well, Doug, I'll make sure that Adam Booth gets this, but he also has enclosed another undisclosed gift in here that I'm not going to tell anyone what it is until Adam is here. So he did send something for the bash, just for general consumption. How's that? And he sent a really fun box of peanuts too, and we appreciate that. So we're going to write, close that up. We're going to write A-bomb on here. A-bomb. And we're going to write Summer Bash. And put it up in the attic with the rest of them. All right. Okay, cool. And so Adam, you got kind of a surprise. You got a micrometer being returned to you that I guess you put on a long-term loan. But there's also a surprise in there. You know, I don't know whether you know about it or not, but that's for us here the night before. So that'll be packed in a box and sitting here waiting for you. Next up is some mail from PTC Instruments. Some very nice temperature gauges. Take a look at these. Next up, this is from the shipping department. This is kind of unexpected. Pacific Transducer Company. This is PTC Instruments. This is from our friend John Marcus. And he sent over actually a really nice supply of, these are laboratory type gauges. And these aren't cheap gauges. These are glass lens, Fahrenheit, centigrade. This one's 0 to 150. Magnetic back, and then the sensing element is right in there in that little enclosure. So very nice gauges he sent out for us to distribute. And there's a few different flavors in here. This one's 0 to 150 Fahrenheit or minus 20 to 70 centigrade. So nice little gauges there. There's about 50 of them in here. I think this is another flavor. This is a, well, let's see, it looks like a 50 degree Fahrenheit up to 800 degree Fahrenheit, or 40 degrees centigrade to 400 degrees centigrade temperature gauge. So pretty nice. And we sure thank PTC Instruments for sending those out. These are rebranded Rio Temp, but PTC makes them, and they do a lot of rebranding for other companies too. So if you guys have an outfit that you want put on a gauge, he can certainly do it for you over there. Get with John at PTC Instruments. That's the website's PTC1.com. I'm not going to unwrap all these, but I'll give you a good idea of what we're looking at here. There's a gob of them in there. There's another layer underneath. I'm not going to go packing them through there. So sure thank the guys out at PTC, and I'm sure the viewers will love those things. I'm going to snake one here for my shop, just as a general temperature sensing around the shop. All right. Thank you, PTC, and thanks for watching. So pretty cool, and thank you, PTC Instruments, for those. Those are going to be kind of some prizes and stuff for the Summer Bash. So those are very nice glass crystal surface temperature gauges. Next up, I'm kind of working around the shop here, trying to get it cleaned up. I want to try to get some paint work done before people start showing up. But I'm working on the shop ceiling. In the center of the shop, it's got a really high ceiling. It's about a 14-foot crown in the middle. And I'm doing some recessed lighting and doing a double skin and insulating the ceiling. So let's take a peek at the beginnings of that. Okay, so the ceiling's turned out good. I don't know if they'll even have time to finish it before the bash, but at least I got a bunch of sheet metal out of my way and got some lighting started up there, and I have to wire it and insulate it as I build it because it's a very tight attic. All right, next up, let's talk about a viewer came to visit me, and he said, and we were just talking, and we were talking about little fussy indicators, and I said, you know what? And I was showing him all mine. I got kind of a fetish for those things. And I said, one of these days I'm just going to break down, and I don't want a used one. I want a brand new inner rapid. And all of a sudden, this shows up. Hey guys, welcome to the bench, and actually welcome to the surface plate. And so I'm talking to a local viewer the other day, and we were chit-chatting. And I said, one of these, we were talking about indicators, and I said, well, one of these days I'm going to treat myself to a brand new, not used, no eBay, no nothing. I'm going to treat myself to a brand new inner rapid. And I'd never done it. You know, this was a few months ago. And he gives me a call and says, hey, I got a spindle that I'd like you to take a look at on a machine, on a surface grinder. So I ran over there, and I was just looking over the spindle and checking radial, run out, axial play, all yada yada, just checking out a normal spindle. And he hands me this box, and you can maybe see what it says there. It says Inner Rapid, made in Switzerland. And like I say, I've never owned a brand new Inner Rapid, but there it is in all its Swiss-made glory, made by the Tessa company. I got a data sheet and an instruction sheet that most of it I can't read. Most of it's European. Declaration of conformity. And like I say, I've never owned an Inner Rapid. Always heard really, really good things. Got a little tense gauge here, still in the plastic. Never been opened. Well, I'm not even going to try to tear that. I'm going to go for skizzers. If you treat your Leatherman scissors correctly, they're incredibly sharp. I use them for hangnails and little fuzzy stuff. Don't try to cut anything crazy with them. They'll stay sharp forever. You have to love the Leatherman wave. And so what we've got, Inner Rapid with a hammer tone finish, made in Switzerland, tense indicator. Got a pretty nice feeling movement there. It's got the classic Inner Rapid stem, which people have a love-hate with. But if you go full Inner Rapid in your shop, you got no problems. But it does also have the small dovetail on the bottom, and which is probably what I'll use. I'm just going to kind of flip the stem up, and we'll maybe measure something. Are you still seeing that? Look like this and show you the repeatability on it. She's snapping right back to the same spot every time. Some of my other gauges, I get about 1/10 of variation on repeatability on this test. And I'm just going to slide my part across here. It is a really nice piece. But what a nice gauge movement, and what's really impressive is that repeatability there. Probably get something that's not so parallel so I can actually see the gauge move. What have I got that's not parallel? Let's check the square, just for the heck of it. Maybe it's out. Maybe I'll get lucky and it's out. Said no one ever. Okay, same thing, nice repeatability. All right, let's check our base of our angle here for parallelism. Holy crap, that thing's parallel. Look at that. It's rising a little bit, but not much. 1/10. 2/10 over what, maybe 3 inches? It usually comes back down to rest at 0, which it does. And this probably explains it, because this is a Tessa as well. But anyways, thank you very much for the gauge. The viewer's name was Rick. I'm not going to use his last name for privacy reasons. But thank you for the little gauge. I've never owned a brand new one. And I was very shockingly pleased to get that. So thank you again. And I'll say it again. I love my viewers. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. So you know who you are, and thank you very much for that that wonderful gauge. And he is local to me, and I went over and looked at a machine of his, and it was missing a part. This was a 618 Boyer Schultz surface grinder, and it was missing one of the little way covers. So I made a replica as shown here. And then I sent it over to him, and here's the fit on it, and how it kind of blends into the machine. I just based that replica off of my machine, and I hoped it would fit his, but I took it over there and I gave it to him as a thank you for that gauge. So I'm glad it could fit, and I'm glad you can put that thing to use. Next up, here's just a quick shot of some work that I've done, just my regular day job. Did a paint mix room at a very nice auto color paint store. They're a PPG dealer, but let's go have a look at Martin Auto Colors. All right, so that place is kind of like a laboratory with a tiled floor, and very nice storefront they have there with that paint mixing room there behind me. So pretty nice place, Martin Auto Colors. They're a chain here in Southern California. As long as we're talking about work, let's go take a look at a drawing. And now let's go take a look at the reality of it. So turning dreams into reality, or turning drawings into reality, I kind of I love that. I love to see a nice blueprint, and then when we get done, just see what it looks like when it's all finished up. So that's always pretty cool. Next up, we turned a panel that looked like this into a panel that looks like this. So there's something therapeutic about making up a panel and getting, you just pull in all the wires, and they're just hanging there like spaghetti, and people walk up and go, oh man, what are you gonna do with all that? And that's what we did with it. Okay, next up, let's see. Oh, Randy Richards sent some stuff down for the bash. 2 pieces, some of his handcrafted stuff. Let's go open that mail. Okay, so we got a package in from Randy Richard, and it's Attention Summer Bash. So let's see what we got going here. All right, envelope empty. Oh, he's tagging them now. Let's see. Dovetail cutter, 5/8 shank. Okay, pretty cool. That's I've got one of these. I haven't seen his newer ones. Oh, he's engraving them now. Look at that. That's the new dovetail cutter. He's got serial numbers on them. And it says, well, Summer Bash 2016 on it. I don't know if you can see that engraving on there. Until I get some dirt down in the engraving, you're not going to be able to see it. And he's got his gear logo down on the bottom of it too. That's pretty cool. And he includes an insert. I think that's a TPG insert. But I've got one of these holders and it works wonderfully. So that's a giveaway for the bash. I think this is just going to raffle. And he included a coin. These little collector coins. Cool. So thank you, Randy, for that. Okay, so a 60-degree dovetail cutter with a 5/8 shank. Going out to a lucky viewer. Oh, let me set a note here. Stan, I would like to sponsor Summer Bash 2016. Here's a carbide scribe, serial number, blah, blah, blah. To go. Okay, this is for the winner of the Tom Lipton Mill Indicating Competition. Well, that's a mouthful. Okay. Let's see what the scribe looks like. Oh, he's got a pocket clip in there too, in case you want to put a pocket clip on it. That's pretty cool. He's got that engraved too. Again, it's difficult to read just because there's no dirt down in the engraving, but I can tell you what it says. It says Randy Richard in the shop, serial number, blah, 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 USA, Summer Bash 2016, Mill Indicating Competition. He's got some, just some accent grooves there with some nice, some paint down in there to kind of highlight it, which is nice. Yeah, it's carbide. You can feel the weight of that scribe. So there it is, all put together. Oh, you want to see what it looks like compared to maybe a Starrett? I got a Starrett here. Comparatively in length, almost identical. Look at that. That's the Starrett 94A, I believe. And then when you break it down, the Starrett closes up like that, and Randy's closes up like this. That's almost the same too. Pretty cool. All right. Thank you, Randy, for sending that out. I'm sure the winner of the mill indicating competition will appreciate that. And we've also got some other surprises for them coming up for whoever wins Tom's mill challenge. And another nice sleeve, all serialized. And he sent some Randy stickers. All right, guys. Thanks, Randy, and thanks for watching, guys. Okay, so thank you, Randy. That's a very nice scribe, very nice dovetail cutter. Those are going to some lucky winners at the upcoming Summer Bash. Next up, we got some Tom Lipton mail, which is always interesting. Let's go open Tom's mail. Okay, well, we got a box from Mr. Tom Lipton. So we're going to see what this was unexpected. It's nowhere near April Fool's, so I'm not too worried about it blowing up or anything. Let's see what Mr. Lipton sends here. He gets all kinds of stuff from the viewers and everything, so high density foam, so it's actually always welcome around there. Oh, We had, I've been having a discussion with him about plastics. I'm working on a plastics project for a customer. He sent me some starboard. That's an HDPE. This is, I've looked at this. This is for marine use. It doesn't absorb any moisture at all, so it's a good board for marine use. It's got kind of a Teflon feel to it. Cannot be solvent welded. And then my phone's ringing off the hook. Type 1 PVC, garden variety PVC. This one can be solvent welded. What else we got in here? Garolite, cotton cloth. It must be like a phenolic. Never used Garolite. Very stable though. Nope, no odor, but I know when you cut it, it stinks. So a couple blocks of Garolite to play with. Probably use that for maybe an electrical isolator or something. Pretty cool for those samples. Thank you, Tom. What else you got in here? This is bright. Oh, it's a T. That's the Shop Vac T-slot cleaner. It's got the T section to it. It's got a swept entry there. That's pretty cool. I saw that on his show. Nice, and it's 3D printed. So whoever's 3D printing this is doing a nice job. I mean, usually when you build up something, I'm guessing it started, yeah, it looks like you started at the base here, so it was built up here up. Usually give it about halfway up and the whole thing just melts and goes bleh. But this one, he looks like he's got his operation down to a science. Very nicely done. Look forward to turning that in my shop back. Thanks, Tom, and thank you to whoever built that. And I see some switch gear down here. This is a big dog. 800T, that's an Allen Bradley. That's considered a 3-position, maintained. And then the contacts are double pull, double throw. And you can add contact blocks to these. You can stack them to the left or you can build them out. So this is a pretty modular system. And these are the big mounting plates. 30 something millimeter. I think a 35 millimeter. 30 millimeter. Yep. So these go in a 30 millimeter. Your cutout's 30 millimeter. That's how they rate switch gear like that. But the Allen Bradleys are nice, heavy-duty units for full-size panels. As you can see, that's a pretty big switch. So you'd have a hard time getting that in a small enclosure, but nice for big panel work. And it looks like new old stock. It doesn't look like it's ever been installed. Nice piece. What else we got in here? More boxes. More boxes. Alligator clips. More new old stock. Looks like copper. And they got a hell of a spring in them too. So these are the kind you can crimp onto your wire, and it's got a lug connection for making some test leads or something. So pretty cool. Little box of alligator clips. And like I said, more boxes. What's this? Push button. Never heard of this brand. No, it's made in Germany. Moeller. M-O-E-L-L-E-R. Let's see. It's the lamp is 130 volt, 2.6 watt max. So it's a lighted push button with 120 volt light. Contact blocks are looks like normally open. Oh, there's 3 contact blocks there. So, one's the lighting module. Let's just open it up. Get a look at it. Try to identify what they've got installed on the switch. We've got a contact block here that's showing normally open. They've got this contact block, it just shows X. So we can pop it out of there. Oh, that's the entire light module, okay. There's the wiring diagram for it, so that's the actual light bulb module. So it's only got one set of contacts on it. It's got a normally open set of contacts and then the lighting module for lighting up the push button. And this is the smaller 22 millimeter. That's right where that white gasket is. That's where you'd be cutting your hole in your panel. Yep, 22 millimeter. This is a point of reference. I'll show you the difference in size of the switches. So there's quite a bit of difference in size. If you're limited on panel space, the 22 millimeter is the way to go. This has pretty much become the industry standard. But so there's some bigger companies that insist on the larger ones, but 22 millimeter is pretty much what all I see anymore. So pretty cool. And what do we got here? It's like another switch. Smaller. General Electric. Whoa. Normally closed, normally open. Normally closed, normally open. It's got interesting configurations here in the back. This is all riveted together. It can't be taken apart. It's like spade connections down in there. So for a quick change, kind of a, looks like a male spade would go in there. It looks like we got a female spade down inside of there. That's pretty interesting. I've never seen one of those. That looks like a takeout. That's kind of an old school. That's probably an on. That's an on-on switch. There's no off position. So this is 2-position maintained, 3-position maintained. You have to describe the switch, and then you also have to describe the switch gear when you're describing a switch. This is momentary. That's not a maintain. That's opposite of maintain, is a momentary push button. So those are some of the different types of operators, and then the switch gear on the back gets explained separately. That was your switch lesson for the day. All right, let's get these boxes out of here. Still more to go. Magna Craft relays. Wow, I wonder if that's what's in here. Oh, old school. Okay, this is a power type relay. So you can actually see the contacts here. So they switch from here to here is closed right now. So you've got 2 poles. So the way you would describe this is double pole. So we got 2 poles, one going all the way through here, one going all the way through here. Double pole, single throw. See, and now it's switching the current back to this rear set of contacts back here. When I come back here like this, so this would be double pole, double throw, and the operating coil is back here. Oh, there's some data. Coil 24 volts DC. Holy crap. That's the one that's what makes this a white elephant. It's a 24 volt DC coil. But you could start a motor or start something kind of big with that. These contacts are pretty big. It's horsepower rated. It'll do 1.5 horses at 120 volt, and it'll do 2 horse at 200 to 600 volts. So it'll switch some big horsepower through it. and then the pilot voltage is just 24 volts DC, which is like a machinery type thing. If you've got a machine that runs on 24 volt DC, that's pretty interesting. Okay, we're not done. All this stuff out of here. Main box out of here, little box out of here. These are female spade connectors. And these are, let me just get one out in here. These are solderless. And what you do is you slip your wire in, crimp, and then this extra sleeve that's sticking off of here, I believe that's going to shrink up when it heats. So you would take a heat gun, not a lighter, and shrink that up over your wire to complete the connection. And if you use a heat gun, you won't turn it black like I just did, but you see how that shrunk down there? I'll show you before and after. How's that? So these are pretty cool terminals, good for conditions where you're worried about, I don't know, something getting in the wire, moisture, coolant, whatever, so it would help seal up your wire. That's how far it'll shrink down right there. And if you use a heat gun, you won't turn it black like I just did. So, and then it's fairly flexible, you know, after it's been shrunken down, so it's got a little bit of flex there. That soot the soot wipes off, but I'd still use a heat gun to do it. All right, so that's pretty cool. And that's a standard male size or female size spade, and I think it's it's for the tiny gauge wire. Look down the barrel of that. Pretty small. It'll probably go all the way up to maybe 16 gauge wire, but pretty cool. Those are pretty nice units. Those are like aircraft quality there. I don't see a mil spec on the bag. Anything that flies has to have an M spec on it. Well, that's interesting. Let's hopefully it's not a urine sample. Let's see what's going on here. More switches. These look like takeouts. They all have little wire looms and stuff on them. Possibly aircraft. This has got an MS spec on it, so it's a military spec. It's a sealed switch. It's got the boot inside the toggle. So this very well could have been on an aircraft. Manufactured 962, so holy crap. And this is just a simple on-off switch. Single pole, single throw, on-off, maintained. All right, it's got 2 connections, that's it, just the simplest of switches. He's got, let's see what this is. All right, now this one's interesting. We're taking you to school on switches today. This is a momentary. See, it snaps back to the neutral position. When we look at the terminals back here, we've got 4 terminals. So 2 of them are going to be common. 2 of them are going to be when the switch closes. So we can switch 2 different things. So that makes that double pole, single throw. So we've got 2 poles to switch. We could switch 12 volts DC here, and we could switch 110 volts over here. 2 independent circuits that don't have anything to do with each other. We can bring it into a common switch 2 different things at once, and go out to 2 different places, and momentarily close those contacts in tandem. So that's another type of switch. Oh, here's a monster. Let's see what the operator is. All right, now this is maintain contact, and this is considered on. There's no off position in the middle, so it's not an on-off on. It's an on maintained. I just described the operator. Let's flip it over and look at the poles. Holy sweet Jesus! All right, this is 4 poles. So right through, right here is 1, 2, 3, 4 poles. Your center is going to be your common on all those, but we could switch 4 different circuits: 12 volt DC, 24 volt DC, 120 volt AC, and then maybe over here switch 4 to 20 milliamps, and light up all these commons here. And with one switch throw, boom, right there, we just flipped over 4 different circuits and did 4 different things all at once with one switch. So that is a hell of a switch right there. Highly complex. Mil spec on it, manufactured 567. So this is some kind of a takeout. You know, this could have been a operator for the Bombay doors on a B-52. I mean, who knows what the heck it was. But oh, I got 2 of those. So that's a hell of a switch right there. People look at those and go, oh Jesus. But and that explains that switch. You have to go to a lot of trouble to explain a switch. There's so many different types. Again, on off. I think I got another one of those. Just a plain old on off switch, maintained, single pole. Throwing some leads on it. On off, maintained. These are interesting little fellows. These are miniature switches. They use these a lot in early electronics. Yeah, that little fella. And they didn't even use screw terminals on those. Those are just soldered terminals in the back. Let's see what this is. This is on. That's an on switch. There's only 2 positions to that switch. Yeah, but it is double pole. You'll see you've got the center terminals but you've got one pole right up here, another pole right up here. So pretty interesting. Cool. This will all go in my control ditty box. I've got a lot of control stuff that I keep around. There's an old on-off, almost like a headlight switch. Old school. Single pole, single throw, maintained. That's how that switch would be described. Okay, thanks for the switchgear, Tom. Let's take a look at your urine sample. Somebody want to send this in and see what that fella's on there? We can check this for I don't know, some type of narcotics use. He provides us with a note. Let's see what it is here. This is okay to show on video if you like. Okay, good. I'm glad I read that, in case he said it's not okay to show on video. Hey, Stan, here's a sample of weasel snot, not joking. And actually, he's got the word weasel snot trademarked. Can you see that? Ox Tool Co. Weasel snot, not joking. Protective rust preventative lubricant that I've been experimenting with and formulating. This is a testing sample for you to try out and let me know your impressions and see how it performs in your shop. You can use this on all your fancy tools and gauges. This is what I'm calling medium viscosity. Okay, you can see the viscosity there. It's kind of medium. Apply ideally to a warm surface and wipe off excess to your desired film thickness for the application. As a long-term rust preventative, I would suggest leaving it at full film thickness for maximum protection. My goals for this formula are as a rust preventative, lubricant, metal cleaner, and anti-seize. Anti-seize, wow. Although I have not found a good way to test the anti-seize characteristics yet. It should also be decent for tapping, but I have not tried it for that yet either. My goal is a non-scented lubricant. Do I dare even smell it? Alright, has no odor. Maybe just a light petroleum odor, right? Gosh, just not much. Non-scented lubricant and rust preventative that has a good amount of persistence for fine tools and gauges as well as general use. I have not done any testing on plastics or organic materials, so treat as you would any oils around these kind of materials. Test on hidden part potential for staining if you're going to use it that way. There are no volatiles in this formula, but there is a refined oil in it. All the best, Tom. So pretty cool, Tom. I've got my own sample of weasel snot here, and I'm gonna actually, I'll do some testing around the shop with it, absolutely. So I'll keep that around. I'll try it on my calipers. I'll try it on some of my little gauges. on the spindle of some of the gauges, and maybe we can figure out a way to tap an undersized hole and see if we can get some screws to seize up. All right, maybe we'll do it and pickle them in some salt water or something to let them corrode for a week or two. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and thank you, Tom, for the stuff. This is awesome. Thanks again. Okay, so thank you for that, Tom. Always love seeing a package from Tom Lipton. You never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates. Next up, there was an interesting arrangement. Jim Liechty, some of you may know him. He kind of hangs around on YouTube, and I've been talking to him back and forth on emails. He bought a Rockwell, a Delta Rockwell belt sander, and off of eBay, but it was local pickup only, and that was right here in my hometown, Rancho Cucamonga, and we got it over here. All right, no big deal. It had some issues, and Jim actually makes and supplies people with replacement parts for these old Delta Rockwell sanders. They're very nice little sanders. So let's go take a look at the kit that Jim provides. Okay, well, we got a package here from James, Liechty, from Fort Wayne, Indiana. I've had correspondence with him in the past, and he is big into the Delta Rockwell belt sanders, the vintage belt sanders, the very nice ones. And he actually got one on eBay, and it was available locally to me, and I went and picked it up for him. But the trick was, it had bad rollers. So and he said, hey, he helps people out, and he makes some production or some parts to restore these things. So here he's got a kit right here for restoring a Delta Rockwell belt sander. And wow, he's done a really nice job with these things. He's got all the bearings in it and everything else. Okay, nice. There's a couple of the idler rollers, and that's what's actually bad on that Rockwell sander. And I think he sent me a working plate in here. Oh, yep, he sure did. It's funny because not that long ago I cut out some of these for him on the plasma table, and this is the rear plating, or the backer for the belt. So he's had these reproduced, it looks like. I don't know if this is one of the ones I made him, or maybe Tom Zwickman made those for him. I don't know. But here's the last roller in the kit. But that's pretty much everything you need to restore a Delta Rockwell belt sander. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and bring the belt sander in here and get it running. It runs right now, but the wheels that are on it are just cracked and ready to explode. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in the belt sander and go ahead and assemble all this stuff and get it running. Let's see how the thing runs. And he's got a wheel there with a crown on it, so that's how we're going to track. That's your tracking wheel, and I believe that's probably your drive wheel there. Okay, so and a couple of idlers. So let's bring that unit in here and install this stuff, and let's see how it runs. And if you guys are interested, if anybody needs some reproduction parts for a Delta Rockwell, I'm going to put his email address down below. Get a hold of Jim Liechty and ask him. He's got these in stock. He's got the roller kits in stock. So shoot him an email and tell him what you need. Maybe he can help you out. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Okay, that's a pretty nice kit. Now let's get this belt sander in the shop and get it ripped apart and see what it takes to install all these parts and get it working again. Okay, so we've got our vintage Delta Rockwell belt sander. From what I understand, this is kind of a rare model because it's on a stand, and it's a 1/2 horsepower unit. It's got idler wheel issues, and the drive wheel, someone's taken like some foam tape and put around there to maybe get some grip or something, I don't know. But the actual motor and the drive runs really good. Sounds fine, motor sounds good. The belt's a little old, but no big issues there. I've got a rear guide plating. It goes in there. I've got some wheels. So, and I've actually got some sanding belts here. So let's see what it takes to install Jim Leechty's kit. You know, let's do this thing, see how long it really takes. Okay, so the upper wheel, I'd actually put a gear puller on it, and there's some evidence of a slight amount of Loctite in there. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble it with some glue after I get that shaft cleaned up. So pretty good tip there. This simply, it's probably a slip fit. It took a gear puller to get it off. But we got one more to change out, and maybe we can put a belt on it and try it. I'm going to give it a drop of blue. 242, which is removable. It's just a real light set, and just to help kind of retain that bearing. Okay, that was about, I don't know, 15 minutes. So I've kind of tracked the belt by hand here. You know, make sure the belt's not going to derail. I've replaced all the rollers. Let's flip it on and see how good I was at tracking that belt. See if we derail or whether she stays. Let's get it plugged back in here. And clear. Not too bad. Okay, so that's a pretty cool kit. Belt sander runs real good. Had a couple of little tracking issues, but here I got a tip for you. And I learned this when I built, some of you may remember I built a belt sander from scratch. You can go way back on my playlists and look, and I did a shop built belt sander for a knife maker friend of mine. But it's about crowning the wheels, and here I'm going to give you a tip on how to crown these wheels on that Delta. And here's another tip for you, and I learned this, I actually built a belt sander for a guy. And on all your idler rollers and stuff, after you get it, you get it running. I'm going to demonstrate without it running. But like on an idler roller here, you want a slight crown on it. So after you get it running and the machine's, turned on and the belt's flying, get in here with some fairly rough sandpaper. This is a piece of 80. It's just an old belt, alpha belt sander. And what you want to do is sand this third here. And on this side and the first third here and create a slight crown to the wheel. And that helps your belt track a little better. And you can do this on all your idler rollers. And with these plastic sleeves, it works really good. It sands really quick. And it actually makes the machine run smoother because you just kind of smooth out the roller. But you can actually get in here and do a little bit of work here and come over here and do a little bit of work here and give it just a very slight crown. And that's going to help you a lot with your belt tracking. And you can do that with all your wheels, unless you're using a contact wheel like the main upper drive. But I'll show you how it tracks here real quick. And all you want to do is just get in here and sand just this first third here and the first third over here, and then just run it across lightly and blend them. So it doesn't take a lot of pressure, and you can actually watch the belt move around while you're doing this. You need to be very careful when you're doing this, but that's how you can create a slight crown on the roller. It doesn't take much. If we're making rollers from scratch, we do 1 degree per side on the lathe, like an aluminum roller or something like that for some of these knife maker belt sanders. But you can actually shape these plastic ones pretty easy just with the power of the machine. It'll help clean the wheel, true it up, and create a crown. All right? So just thought I'd lay that little tip on you there for all you guys that are having belt sander issues. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Okay, just crowning those wheels, that belt cleaned right up, and belt changes are pretty easy now. You don't have to retrack every time you change a belt. After I kind of got it dialed in there, after you get those idler wheels slightly crowned, it doesn't take much. Just a real shallow crown to those wheels, and the belts find their natural center and just kind of snap to the center of that wheel. So that's pretty good. I'll tell you, if you want to contact Jim, he's a nice guy, and we've exchanged a lot of emails and stuff. If you need parts for one of these old sanders, he's probably got them, and I know he's got documentation on them too. He's got a scanned-in version of the original documentation in a PDF format. You could probably email it to you, but it's jimliechty@yahoo.com. His email is going to be in the comments below. So, throw him an email and say, hey, I need some wheels or some bearings or a platen, or, he's got all kinds of stuff for these old things. And he knows how to set them up, and he knows how to make them run right. And he can help you with the original documentation too. He's also got an eBay store, but he prefers to keep the money in his pocket instead of sending it to eBay. So, and I don't blame him. So contact him directly and ask him what parts he's got, or whatever parts you may need. That's the end of this episode of The Grind, number 38. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know it was a long show, but I needed to get one out. It's been over a month since I put together an episode of The Grind. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good remainder of your weekend, what little is left of it. Thanks for watching.